Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of AdMail. This is Adam Bergman, founder and CEO of IRA Financial. I'm here to help you find the answers to the most frequently asked questions from my clients about self-directed retirement accounts. If you want to learn more, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Just search IRA Financial. Hi everybody, Adam Bergman here, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. Welcome to another episode of AdMail. On today's episode, this is part number 3 of the Prohibited Transaction Sequence series on the AdMail podcast. So today I'm going to answer 3 questions involving the IRS prohibited transactions under Internal Revenue Code Section 4975. So just a quick recap of the prohibited transaction rules under 4975C. In general, you can do almost anything you want in an IRA except 3 things. You can't buy life insurance and collectibles. That's under Section 408M. And then thirdly, the broadest category of prohibited transactions, you're not allowed to do anything with your IRA that in any way, directly or indirectly, personally benefits you, your lineal descendants, your parents, your children, your spouse, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, or any entities controlled 50% or more by such persons. Otherwise, you can do it, right? So common IRA investments, you can buy a house and rent it out to a third party. Brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, neighbors, they're good. You can transact with them just like you would without the IRA, okay? You could buy and sell, obviously, gold and stocks and crypto, or invest in private equity, venture capital, credit funds, hedge funds, right? So long as you or no lineal descendant owns more than 50%. So keeping that in mind, let's get right to the podcast and go after these 3 really good questions. So the first one's from Caleb M. Caleb wants to know, I need to close on an investment property and am $100,000 short. Can I do a personal loan to my IRA? So Caleb, in general, I would say no, right? Because you have an IRA making the investment, and your IRA is a disqualified person, and you're not allowed to personally loan money from yourself as a disqualified person to your IRA. That's prohibited. Now, one solution is what you could do is set up an entity, like an LLC. You fund it, let's say, I don't know, $500,000 of IRA money. Let's say you're $100,000 short. Your IRA then funds it simultaneously with your personal funds. So now you have $500,000 in this example, hypothetically, of personal funds. 100,000 of IRA funds, you have 600 funded simultaneously, and based off the 1996 Swanson case, the entity only becomes disqualified once funded. Before that, it's just a shell. So as long as you don't add any more money to it and all the profits and losses go pro rata, and you're personally not taking any money out of the entity for salary and things like that, that is one solution around it. Now, there's potentially a little risk. Anytime you use personal retirement money in the same investment, you open the door slightly to potential IRS attack. But in that case, based off the principles of Swanson, it would be a lot safer to do it that way than lending money personally to your IRA, which I think would be a big problem under 4975. So Caleb, thanks for that question. Second question is from Allison T. And Allison wants to know, I have a property management company that I own 80% of. Can that property management company provide services to my IRA LLC? So you heard in my intro, because you own more than 50% of the management company, Allison, it's a no-no. You cannot provide any services from that company to your self-directed IRA LLC. Why? Because you're disqualified, and since you own more than 50% of that entity, the entity is disqualified. Now, let's say you only own 12% of that company. It's a good fact. I would then say you're probably good to go. A little bit of risk. Again, anytime you're involved in a company that's doing something, providing service when you're an equity owner to your IRA LLC, but so long as it's, fair and reasonable, you own less than 50%, of other clients, like it's a real business, I think you're good to go. And you're not charging, below or above market. I think that would work. But the 80%, Allison, is a problem, and I would not do that. That would be a prohibited transaction. Third and final question of today's podcast from Bruce R. Bruce wants to know, I set up a self-directed IRA LLC with you. Could I pay my sister to manage my IRA LLC? Well, as I mentioned, sisters are not disqualified persons. So Technically, yes. I mean, you got to be careful of what you're paying your sister, right? You have an IRA LLC. Maybe it's doing like very complex, sophisticated transactions on a daily basis, and maybe there is a need to pay someone to manage it, but I wouldn't go crazy. I wouldn't try to be too aggressive because, again, what are you paying her to do? If maybe you have one or two real estate properties and she's going to manage the LLC and the properties, that's a different story. But if all she's doing is kind of sitting back and checking the bank account once a week and maybe hiring an accountant to file a tax return or things like that, you could. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't pay a manager of your IRA LLC. The only thing the tax code under 4975 says is you can't pay yourself and your lineal descendants, your parents, your children, your spouse, daughter-in-law, or any entities controlled by such persons. But you can pay your sister, your brother, your aunt, uncle, cousin, friend, me, anyone else. So technically, Bruce, yeah, you can pay your sister. Just be careful, be cautious. You don't want to get too aggressive where you're paying her to do something that just isn't really too much of a heavy lift, and make sure the compensation's in line with the duties involved in her tasks as manager. So short and sweet, it's a great podcast. You get the answers to the questions within 8 to 10 minutes. So you don't have to spend a lot of time. You can listen to this while you're doing work or just driving home or just lying in bed. And you'll get really get to hear some great questions from very, very smart, interesting folks. And you can submit your question too. There's no cost. Send them in to info@IRA Financial. Just say AdMail or Ask Adam. You can also leave a comment on any of our social media feeds, whether it's YouTube, X, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Just say Ask Adam or AdMail, and it's anonymous. I just use your first name and first initial of your last name, so don't be shy. No one's going to know who you are. I'm not even putting cities and states. I used to do that. People said, can you not do that? Don't even put emails. Just first name, first initial, so no one knows who we are. This way it's more open and less personal. So you can ask anything you want related to self-directed retirement accounts. Don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed, right? Trust me. There's never a dumb question. First thing you learn in law school, it's probably the most important thing you'll learn, other than try to how to write and research, is ask questions. It's good. If you have that question, there's probably 1,000 people behind you that have the same question. So don't be shy. I got a long queue of questions. So send them in and keep listening, because you'll learn a lot. That's the best way to learn, is just through other people's questions. As a lawyer, that's really what helped me become a better lawyer, is just listening in conference calls, listening to smarter people than me answer questions. And that's how I became a better lawyer, is just listening to people answer interesting questions and learning from that. So this is a great way we all get to learn from each other. And we all hopefully become smarter, better, wiser, and more successful self-directed retirement investors. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see everyone again soon. Take care.